Hi there villagers. Today I am making my former flatmate Susie's carrot cake. I lived with Susie a really long time ago. There were 4, sometimes 6 of us in our flat. Susie was from Scotland and everybody else was from South Africa. So we had a I'm British thing in common. This is my main takeaway from Susie, is this delicious carrot cake. I don't make it very often. I haven't actually made it for years. So let's see how we get on. The recipe, everything goes in the blender and it all gets mixed up together in the blender. So hopefully a lot less washing up. So let's see. So we're going to start with the jug on our scales and hopefully everything will just go in. So we want 6 fluid ounces, which we have to change the thing for, of oil. There we go, 6. 150 grams of sugar. Make sure we've changed it back to grams. Three eggs. So it doesn't need any margarine or butter. That's what the oil is for. A tablespoon of vanilla essence. I had to get a new one yesterday. Where did I put it? Here it is. That'll do. 100 grams of walnuts. I'm just going to weigh them before I put them in case I need to bash them up. No, that's 84, so that'll do. They're a good size. We might need to just give them a quick. So that's saved most of that. And they're now irregular shapes. And we know that's 84 grams, so we're just going to chuck that straight in. We need 150 grams of plain flour. Isn't that always the way? Not quite enough. One teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda and 1 of baking powder. 1 of cinnamon and 1 of salt. And then we need to find 200 grams of grated carrot, which we are going to measure out separately. How many carrots is 200 grams? Yeah. That'll do. And anyway, it's the more the better. So half of that last one because it looks a bit funny. Okay, come back in a minute when they've all been grated. So I have grated the carrot straight into the top, and now we are going to blend it all together. I will save you the noise and we'll now move to voiceover. A little bit stuck, so we're just going to give it a help and smush it around a bit. Yeah, that looks like a nice batter with just bits of carrot floating around in it. No major lumps, and all of those bits of walnut seems to have disappeared. So you could make this Victoria sponge fashion, make 2 and then fill it with the cream cheese filling and put cream cheese filling on the top, or you could make it as a tray bake, and I think that's what I'm going to do. So now you prepare your tin like you would any other tin, greaseproof paper, oil, and then it goes in the oven for an hour and a half-ish, but keep an eye on it because if you're only doing it tray bake fashion, an hour may be plenty, so I'll keep you posted. But you're looking at gas mark 4 or 200 degrees Celsius, which I think is nearly 400 Fahrenheit, but if you are fan assisted, you know your own oven, so make your own judgment call on that one. And I'll see you in a minute. So a tiny bit of oil, whiz it around, It just gives the paper something to hold on to. A little bit too much baking paper there. Better that than it gets stuck to itself. So a bit more oil. Definitely up the sides because I'm hoping this will grow. And pour it in. When Susie used to make this in the flat, it was Victoria sponge fashion. But I don't see any reason why it couldn't be a different shape. Here's a tip for cleaning your blender. Fill to about half with hot soapy water, put back on your blender and blend for a couple of seconds. It'll come out remarkably clean. So that's a job for in a minute. So, there you go, what it looks like. See you in an hour or so. In the meantime, we can make the frosting. For the cream cheese frosting, you will need scales and a bowl, 75 grams of cream cheese. Make sure you don't buy the one with garlic in it. It needs to be plain because I very nearly made that mistake. So 75 grams. Righto, doesn't want to. Let's get some other spoons. Spatula. Close, that was 60. That will do. £50 of room temperature butter. That's 38. Exactly, and a little bit left on the knife, so I'll just put that in too. Half a teaspoon of vanilla essence. You could measure it, but I like to eyeball it, since I quite like vanilla essence. I'm not bothered if it's too far over or under. And then 100 grams icing sugar. For a stiffer frosting, use more icing sugar. That's all it comes down to, really. That's the end of the need for the scales. So they can go back in the cupboard. And now we mix it all together. Hopefully, because the butter's soft, it shouldn't be a massive deal. If you were going to make it like Victoria Sponge where you have to sandwich two cakes together, you probably need to double the amount of frosting. But as you can see, most cream cheese packs are actually bigger anyway. It smells nice. There is no carrot that goes in this bit, but I don't see why you couldn't if you were desperate. Right, that's quite runny. I'm going to put some more icing sugar in there. You might want to pop this back in the fridge while you're waiting for your cake to come out and cool. If you put it on too fast, it's just going to slide straight back off again. Yeah, definitely needs more icing sugar. That must be at least twice as much icing sugar as the recipe says. It's possible I have written it down wrong because I haven't seen Susie for years, which is a shame. But this is what happens when you move away. Some of your closest friends are actually geographically too far away. There we go, that's a bit more like it. So when your cake's cool, put the cream cheese on, leave it to cool, and enjoy. So actually, because of the shape and thinness of the cake mix, it was only in for 40 minutes. Let's see whether it turns out. It's cooled now, still very slightly warm to the touch. Hasn't broken on the top. Let's see if we can get it out in one piece. So I'm going to leave it upside down because that's actually where the flatter surface is. Here's my icing, fresh from the fridge. So it's quite thickened up now. Actually, I think we might need a second spoon. And all we're going to do is cover the top of it. If you were going to sandwich it together, sandwich two cakes together with it, you probably would need more icing. The last time I made this was not very successful, but I don't think I made it in the blender. The walnuts are clearly optional. You could leave them out if it's something you're allergic to or don't like. And then next stage is we try some. It's quite lumpy in the middle, and then by the time it gets to the edges, it's trying to take the cake mix off. But we're getting there. You could decorate it or just serve it as it is. Thanks, Susie, for the recipe.